This is not the most flattering. What's up, everybody? What's up, people? I'm live on all of the places to answer your questions about family compounds. Hopefully, everybody can hear me. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I have a crazy bunch of stuff going on, so I'm super excited and geek. A whole bunch of potentially exciting stuff. I can't wait to share with y'all. Welcome to the live. It's time for some Q&A, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have about buying a family compound, because you know your girl did it. Okay, I bought a family compound and it needs work. It needs lots of work, but my name is on the deed. Okay, and I didn't go through a bank. So I am telling everybody about how to do that. And last week I went live a couple of times. This end of last week was kind of hectic because I had a test on Thursday for law school, and your girl, I had to focus. I had to study. So okay, so the floor is open. Like, if you have questions about how to buy land without a bank, family compound without a bank, this is your opportunity to ask them. There's an open book. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Monica. And back in 2018, I bought, first of all, I almost got foreclosed on. Let's start with that. Some of y'all don't know the whole deal. Some of y'all do, some of y'all don't. But back in 2018, I was about to lose my house to foreclosure. I had a house in Nashville, Tennessee, Donaldson. I'm a real estate broker. So, I was kind of embarrassed about the whole situation. But long story short, I didn't lose my house. I sold it the day before the auction and then ended up buying a 5-acre farm the very next day. And I did that without a bank because, I was going through foreclosure and my credit was horrible, or there was no way I was going to be able to get approved. So, like I said, the embarrassment and shame of it all kind of kept me quiet about it for a few years. So from 2018 to about 2022-ish, I didn't really talk too much about it. I definitely didn't come on social media and talk about it. But here, as of late, I've been telling people about it. And the reason is because as a real estate broker, I'm here in the state of Tennessee. As a real estate broker, I see what's going on. It's difficult to buy a house. Like, it's not something that's easy. And so I gotta get this lighting right because it's messing me up. It's not easy. And I feel a way about that, right? I feel a way about that. I want people to be able to buy real estate. I know what it's done for me. If I hadn't bought that first house in 2005, I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? As far as, my situation right now, what it would be like. So I'm a real big advocate on helping people buy real estate. Get your name on the deed to a piece of property, okay? Preferably not raw virgin land. We don't want to buy that. We don't want to buy land that's got, no infrastructure on it. I would rather you buy old 2-acre lot that had an old mobile home on it, and the mobile home needs to be torn down versus you buying some raw land. Because if you buy raw land, then you're going to have to bring, Billie Jean, you're going to have to bring all the utilities. Billie Jean said it was your channel that got me wanting to buy a homestead. Yay! I'm so glad. That's what I'm here for. I'm so happy for that. What's up, James? What's up, Financially Me? What's up, Joanne? I can't say. Okay, I'm old. I can't hardly see. What's up, Joanne? How you doing, friend? What's up, the Peaceful Spit? And Mr. Teeswood, Miss Knows Her Worth. Okay, Miss Knows Her Worth. You are so serious. I am so glad because it's out here. Y'all, let me tell y'all. So I have a client. So I'm a real estate broker. I told y'all that. Just so if you're new to me, I've been in real estate for full time since 2011. Was that 14 years? And even longer than that, but full time since 2011. And probably, I can't even remember, 2020, I can't remember when it was, but anyway, I helped a lady sell her house. And so she called me up. We had seen each other when I was working at Walmart. I spent 90 days at Walmart because I had to get a job for a hot minute. And so she saw me there and we reconnected. And so last night she hit me up on Facebook because we're friends on Facebook. She was like, I need to talk to you. I'm like, okay, what's up? That usually always means I need you to help me with some real estate stuff. So I'm like, bet. So anyway, we end up getting on the phone and she tells me she's got some land. Now, some of y'all need to hear this. She's got some land. Look up Cedar Grove, Tennessee. So if you're trying to find homestead in Tennessee, I need you to dial all the way in. Okay. She's got some land. Good evening, Queen. Good evening, Tamiko. She's got some land in Tennessee that she's just been paying taxes on. And it used to have a mobile home on it. Her grandfather, I believe she said, had dug a well. And so it has infrastructure already on the property. Now, I did check out Cedar Grove. It's West Tennessee. And, I'm familiar with West Tennessee. I've been in Tennessee my entire life, born and raised, right? So I was like, well, what do you want to do? She said, well, can you look into it and see, what you can tell me about it? And I was like, well, I can tell you straight up right now that if you were to sell this property and sell it outright and get a big bucket of money, what's going to happen is, since it's not your primary residence, you might get hit with capital gains taxes. I told her, talk to a CPA, and I'm going to help her find somebody to talk to and verify all these things. But I told her about how she could sell it on owner financing. So when I tell you guys, these types of properties are all over the place. It just so happened that it fell in my lap last night. And so when she gets ready, like, we're going to be meeting this week. We went to church together today. And to later on this week, we're going to get together because I need to do some research on the property and see how much it is and all that, the third. Because if she hires me as her broker, then obviously I'm going to have to be looking out for her best interest, right? And I'm already doing that by letting her know that she's got options when it comes to selling it. So the bottom line is, I got so much to tell y'all. So that happened, right? And I think I did pretty good on my law school test, in case anybody's wondering. Tamiko says, I'm very interested, but concerned about the location. I live in Georgia. I'm a nurse and my husband works also. So we need to be an hour and a half away from our jobs. Is this obtainable? Yes, it is. It's a needle in a haystack, y'all. So when I tell y'all looking for land that you can purchase without a bank is a needle in a haystack situation. Like, it's not going to be like there's thousands of them from you to choose from, which is why I tell y'all there's several things you have to accept. Number one is that the location is going to choose you. So, Tamiko, basically what's going to happen is you're going to start to search and search and search and just keep on that search until that property pops up, right? And when that property pops up, you just need to be prepared to be able to make an offer. So, what's up, Marvin? Welcome from Milwaukee. That's the thing. You just need to be prepared. That's the most important thing. So everybody on here can purchase a property without a bank. Like, I want to make sure that you guys understand this is very much within your reach. Matter of fact, this may be the only way that you can buy property. You see, with the underwriting guidelines and the income restrictions, a lot of government workers, y'all are in my prayers right now with the government shutdown. I hate that this is going on. That kind of thing prevents you from being able to go through a traditional situation and buy a house. You got to have, your W-2s and pay stubs got to be right. So one of the things that I did when I bought my house is I did not have to go through a bank. I didn't have to show pay stubs. I didn't have to show a tax return, and I did not have to get my credit pulled. I just made the deal. We wrote it up, and I went to the closing just like a regular closing with an attorney. And my name is on the deed to my house. And that's so very powerful because what I did was I completely circumvented the entire system. Like, that's deep. Like, you circumventing credit, you circumventing financing, okay? You circumventing the private mortgage insurance, all of these things that are normally required for you in order to buy one of the biggest purchases of your life. I tiptoed all around that and said, let me in through the back door, please. Okay. And ended up getting my name on the deed. And that was in 2018. So, like I said, as a real estate broker in the state of Tennessee, that wasn't something that I was proud of, being in a bad spot financially and almost getting ready to lose my house. So I didn't tell people about it. And it wasn't until, like I say, recently that you'll see my content on my TikTok. You'll see my content on my YouTube. I was talking about starting a farm. That's it. That's all I talked about. Because after I purchased this property, that's really what I wanted to do. And I was so traumatized from the whole foreclosure situation that I didn't even want to talk about it. I was embarrassed about it. Plus, I didn't want to talk about it because of the trauma. It was stressful, the most stressful situation in my life. Okay. So I just kind of shut it down and put it to the side. And then when I started to realize telling people to start a farm, it was kind of, I don't know, it wasn't, I'm not going to say it was wrong to tell people they can farm anywhere because you can, according to the USDA, a farm is any place that could or normally would produce $1,000 worth of agricultural products. And so that means an apartment can technically be a farm if you're growing microgreens. So I'm not going to say I was wrong for that, but I was putting the cart before the horse with it, right? Because telling people they can start a farm apartment is great, but what we really need to be is self-sufficient. And in order for that to happen, you need some dirt. Like, let's call a spade a spade. You need some dirt. You really need a little patch of dirt in order to really be able to make that happen. And so I switched what I was talking about, right? I started realizing that, man, I'm telling people they can start a farm, but a lot of people are asking me, well, how do I get land? How do I get land? And I'm just like, this is how I did it. So I finally started talking about it, right? I bought mine without a bank. My credit was jacked up. I almost got foreclosed on. Bought a house the next day after I was supposed to be foreclosed on. And so that's kind of how this all developed. Now I'm full, all gas, no brakes. This is what happened to me. This is how I can help you. Blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of what's up with me now. Let me see what I got going on in the chat. So y'all let me know what questions you have. I don't want to talk you to death. So I want to go online for about an hour or so. I wanted to do this for about an hour or so to answer any questions that you might have. Let me see what I got here on YouTube. Billie Jean said, when I'm ready, I hope your channel is still up because I need your wisdom and expertise. Oh, I love it. But I'm currently under a VA loan paying off my house in Texas. Okay, that's good. Oh, I'm so glad you said that, Billie Jean. So if you currently have a house and you're going to hold on to that house, you can still leverage that house in order to be able to buy your homestead. And let me explain what I mean by that. And this has to be very, you have to be able to make this work, right? So if you've got equity in your house, you can tap into that equity in order to be able to go and purchase your homestead, right? But Monica, that's another loan, that's another bill, right? Absolutely. So you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. Well, what am I going to do? Can't live in both places. So if I go to my homestead, if I use this equity to go purchase my homestead, then what am I going to do with my primary residence? Well, I had a consultation last week with a Marine veteran who is about to use her main home that she's living in now as a rental. And then she's going to go and build or find her homestead that she's going to be living in. She's going to be within like a 2-hour drive or so. So Irulu, am I saying it correctly? She has lots of equity. See what I'm saying? That was my situation. So if you got equity in your house, that's really you're 9 steps ahead of the game. And a lot of people that have equity in their house right now, they got like a lower interest rate, or they may be open to moving, but the interest rate being so low, they're kind of like, I don't want to leave that. Or their credit maybe has taken a hit over the years and now they don't think they could get qualified for something else. Well, friend, I'm here to tell you that that equity is powerful, and you can take some of that equity and either, if you don't want to sell your home, you can, use it as a rental and then go and buy you a homestead. I'm telling you, friend, it's out there, but it's a process, So Billie Jean, you in a good spot, just like Erulu, you are in a good spot. Y'all are both in a good spot because y'all got equity. If you got equity, you in a good spot right now. You just need to know how to be able to wisely use it, because I don't always recommend that you tap into your home's equity because you're basically creating a new bill. The thing that you would need to do is to decide, can I be a landlord? Because if you did tap into your equity, you don't want to be the one paying for it. You want to have your eye on you need to time everything right. You need to have your eye on a homestead before you do all that, right? So that then when you find that homestead, you can get that equity, get your homestead, turn around and put somebody in your house as a tenant, charge them rent, which is going to pay for your mortgage and whatever equity you pulled out. You see what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of ways this can happen now. You got to get with your girl. Speaking of which, I need y'all to go to yourfamilycompound.com because this is the next thing I need to tell y'all about. Okay. Your girl has started a real estate school. Monica Dunn Real Estate School is about to launch. I am going to be teaching continuing education classes for the state of Tennessee. I'm also going to be teaching pre-licensing classes. So you want to get your real estate license in the state of Tennessee, or if you want to become a broker in the state of Tennessee, then I will be prayerfully qualified this week to teach those things. But also, I'm going to be teaching the public, right? And so I've started this little membership called Family Compound Membership, where every month I'm going to be teaching you, going out and getting some experts, bringing them in to speak with you. And I'm just now launching it, right? So when you go to yourfamilycompound.com, you'll see a little video with me talking about it. And basically it's designed because not everybody can afford my property acquisition fee, right? And you guys may have heard me talk about the little group that I was starting of people I need to get testimonials from. Well, that group is shut down. That's done. So I had some people try to sign up, and I was like, they were like, well, do you have anything else? And I'm like, talk to me. What do you need it to look like? And they was like, maybe like a membership type of a situation. And I'm like, bet, because I've been there, done that with the membership. Okay, I ain't mad at the membership. And I talked to them even this Saturday in the free training. Y'all know I do the free trainings on Saturday. If you haven't checked out those trainings, go to yourfamilycompound.com and sign up. So anyway, we talked about it in the Saturday's training, and they was like, yeah, this would be something I would be interested in. So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to have a monthly membership so that the people who can't afford my property acquisition fee of $7,500 and the people who missed out on my little 20-person group can plug in with me and get my help every single month for as long as you need it, right? Now, the membership is going to be $97 a month, but if you sign up before, I think November the 1st, you can get 50% off of that for life. So it'll be like 48 bucks. And why I think that's going to be helpful for a lot of people. Thank you, Billie Jean. Why I think that's going to be helpful for a lot of people is because most people who like don't have the equity need help raising the money. So I tell you guys, 10 grand at minimum is what you need before you start trying to find a homestead, a family compound. These people out here ain't gonna do it on a handshake or for $1. Like you gotta have some money, okay? So one of the things that's very important is that you have that before you start your search, because otherwise you're just online looking at properties for forever. So here's how it's gonna work. You guys are going to get my help in creating something that generates you money, right? A digital product. Like I've created all sorts of digital products, and for 4 or 5 years, did it consistently to the tune of 630,000 in revenue, right? And I know there's people out there that do way more than that in digital products, but I'm pretty proud of what I was able to do, right? So what those years taught me is that if you have something that you're really good at, if you have an expertise in something and you're really good at it, then what you can do is create a digital product, not an ebook. People think first thing they think about when they think digital products is like ebooks. No, a digital product can be a Zoom meeting. You can have a 3-hour masterclass on beekeeping. You can have a 2-hour masterclass on, how to train your livestock guardian dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be an ebook. It could be a Zoom. You know what I mean? So one of those things, and thank y'all for the congrats in advance. I'm super excited about the school. So one of the things in this membership that we're going to do is I'm going to meet you where you are, because I'm not going to tell you, okay, come on over here, let's start a farm if you don't have the land, right? And if you don't have the land, I want to make sure, okay, where are we at with our savings? Do you have your $10,000 saved? No. How much do you lack? I need about $3,000. Bet. What are you good at? Oh, not really anything. Oh, okay, fine. Well, I'm going to create an affiliate program, and then I'm just going to pay you for selling my stuff. However, we got to get you to the $10,000, we're going to get you there. On the other hand, if you come to me and you tell me, Monica, I'm really good at developing curriculum, like one of the gentlemen in my group was a former educator. And so we're going to be creating something for him around his expertise in the way of teaching, I'm not sure what subject he's going to, I don't know exactly what he's going to be around, but I'm going to help him physically create that thing. Right. And so we're going to monetize it. I had a girl on the call this Saturday. She was like, she's doing beekeeping. I kind of structured out her digital product or whatever the case may be. So the membership is going to be about getting you the money. And some of you guys have decent credit. If you've got a 680 or more credit score, I got two good options for you that you can use in order to get business funding. And we'll talk through that, right? In the membership, right? I got Kenyatta. She is a notary who also helps businesses get funded. And she's in Pittsburgh. And I've got Charlotte. Charlotte also has not generated, but she secured $100,000 in credit cards by doing this business funding. So she's got something I can plug you through, and then so does Kenyatta. So between me creating digital products, between them, between my affiliate program, if you don't have your down payment money, I'm going to help you get it. That's number one. So that's phase one, money. If you've already got the money, then you're not going to stay in phase one very long. You're going to go to phase two, which is property search. Okay. Property search is, let's start seriously looking for your property. You got the money. Let's start finding your property. So we're going to go spend time every week. This membership is every week. We're touching each other every week. It may not be a Zoom every week, but I'll be in our community every week, and I'll be making sure you guys are staying on track every week, right? So once you start the property search, then we're going to get serious, and I want you to start making offers. So, but before I send you out there, I'm going to give you my template. So one of the first things that you get when you sign up for the membership, you fill out a little form, and then once you fill out the form, you'll get an email, and in that email will be your owner financing template, your contract. You're going to practice and practice and practice filling out that owner financing contract, and you're going to practice talking to me like I am the property owner, and I'm going to be a nice property owner sometimes. I'm going to be a mean property owner sometimes, and you're going to have to navigate that, and I'm going to pretend like I'm an agent. I'm going to pretend like I'm representing the property owner as their agent. I'm going to give you a nice agent. I'm going to give you a mean. I'm going to role play with you so that this membership basically is designed so that I'm going to teach you everything I know about how to buy a property without a bank. I'm going to get your skill set up in that one little piece of knowledge that I have about real estate, right? And so that's why I wanted to make it where it was monthly, because I've been doing this for a long time. And there is no way I can expect to be able to deposit everything in my head to you in one training or even two trainings. It's like there's no way, right? So what the goal is for me to be able to make it affordable, especially for those people who join before November the 1st, because you get the 50% off, so that you can take your time and be able to learn what you need so that you can actually buy a property without a bank. And this is any property. I mean, I say homestead, but this applies to any property. You can do it with any property. You can do this anywhere in the country. Marvin said, I'm considering buying land for hunting and perhaps place a house on it. A lot of land in Southeast Arkansas is owned by companies such as Georgia Pacific. Where do I go to find property they occasionally sell? Well, I would say if they don't have a specific site where they dispose of their properties, Marvin, then you're going to probably just be looking where everybody else is looking when properties get listed for sale. And that's going to be Zillow and Realtor.com, right? One of the things that you can do is you can go to the public record, the tax assessor for the county, and you can look up the property owner and you can put in Georgia Pacific. Now, they may or may not have the properties listed in that name. It could be in a trust, it could be in other things. So that is a suggestion that you could do in order to find out where their properties are. So then you can kind of keep an eye on those properties. But more than likely, you're just going to have to be like everybody else and keep an eye on when it hits the market. So that's a good question. Clever girl, hey, she says, what's the best reason to give the bank to get the equity on your house without the high interest rates? Oh, that's very good. So let me explain to you how interest rates are determined. Credit is one factor, lien position is another. So if you already have a first mortgage, and if you want to go get the equity out in the form of a second mortgage or a home equity line of credit, it's already automatically going to have a higher interest rate because it's in second lien position. And as a second lien, it's not as secure as the first lien holder. So there's that. Okay. So there's only so much you're going to be able to do about interest rate on a second lien, right? Now, when it comes to how do you get it lower, typically the higher your value, the least, in other words, if you owe, let's say you have a $200,000 house and you owe $100,000 on it. That means you have $100,000 in equity. One way that you could potentially keep your interest rate lower is by keeping your total loan to value low. Meaning that even though you've got that $100,000 in equity, you don't go borrow 80% of it like they want you to, right? You only borrow maybe 30 or 40 or 50%, meaning another 30 or 40 or $50,000. So that keeps your total indebtedness to 150,000, where you still owe, you still have a house that's worth 200. So you're leaving a 50,000 cushion. The less you borrow against your home, the less risk there is involved, the lower the rate. Okay. So those are the things that will impact rate. But by and large, by it being a second lien position, it's going to come with a higher rate just because of the fact that it's a second lien. Okay. Good question. What else we got? Who is looking for a homestead right now? Oh, a therapeutic farm. Let me see what we got going on over here on TikTok. I love it. Okay, so what a therapeutic company, therapeutic farm. Okay, talk to me. Are you looking to start a therapeutic company, a therapeutic farm? Because to farm by default to me is therapeutic. Like when you farming, when you out there and you go, I don't know if you walk around with your feet, you just barefoot or whatever. But let me tell y'all, when I first started, planting things here after the foreclosure and all that other stuff, I didn't get foreclosed on. I call it the foreclosure, but I sold it before the auction. When I moved here, I took my shoes off, and I was outside. I was planting things. It was the most therapeutic, peaceful time. I can't wait to get back to that, right? I cannot wait to get back to that. So one of the things that's so important is that when you start to, farm and all of that stuff, you want to make sure you're growing for your family. One of the mistakes I made was trying to make things into a business. I'm an entrepreneur trying to make things into a business right off the bat. But once you get your land, start to figure out what that self-sufficiency looks like for y'all. What do y'all eat? What do you need to be raising? What do you need to be growing? And then whatever happens from that, if it turns into a business and you start selling stuff at the farmer's market, then great. But otherwise, don't trip. Don't start trying to because we're in that stage of life right now with things that are happening that self-sufficiency is becoming more and more important every single day. So I very much recommend that when it comes to the therapeutic nature of farming, that you start first with focusing on what your family needs. So I am looking to be a Black female farmer. I love it. Well, I can tell you one thing. It's going to be so exciting to see you do this because you already got the equity. So it's just a matter of what you want to do. You got to find, your searching is going to be the thing, however long that takes. I hope you end up joining the membership. So I would love to help you with that because y'all just have a specific requirement of needing to be close to your jobs. And I totally get that. So it's just going to take some time, right? To be able to find the right property. And here's the thing, y'all, you got to be consistent. You got to search for these properties like pretty much every day. It doesn't take very long. Just hop on a realtor.com, hop on a Zillow.com and do your search, right? That's the most important thing. Okay. Chantel said, it's 6 of us who want to buy land together for a family compound and we need help with the logistics. Okay, perfect. So if you got a group of people that's trying to buy a family compound together, the first thing you need to do is to make sure you've got 10 grand. More than that, really. But when it comes to the logistics, that's the first step, calculating how much money everybody has. So that's step number 1, okay? Number 2, then you need to try to figure out what state you want to be in. Like where do y'all all want to be? Because 9 times out of 10, one of those 6 people got a job that they got to go to, right? Not everybody's going to be able to work from home or whatever the case. So the next thing is which state. So money, then state, right? After you figure that out, the next thing is going to be, okay, well, how many acres do we need? Right? How many acres do we need? And kind of figuring that out. Now, I'm finna tell y'all one of the things that's going to be in this membership is something I call the mobile home park masterclass. Now, the mobile home park method is when you got 6 or 7 folks that's trying to buy a house and y'all all trying to go in together. When you look for these properties, even if you find a 10-acre property, you're not going to find 6 houses necessarily on that property. So you need a parcel of land that has infrastructure already set up for multiple houses. Guess what mobile home parks are? Guess what mobile home parks typically come with? Lots and lots of acres. So am I telling everybody they're gonna have to live in a mobile home? No. But y'all gotta think outside the box, okay? A mobile home park offers you the best infrastructure for a family compound. I've been saying this. I did a video on that. I even went to Mississippi looking for one. I think I might have put that on my YouTube as well. But I definitely know I put it on TikTok. But the bottom line is water tap, sewer, electrical, plumbing, all of that is already in a mobile home park. And it's already cash flowing. So I'm looking at mobile home parks. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking if, long term for my whole family, like we've been talking about this. And I said, the best bet would be to get a mobile home park. And so I'm going to teach you guys how to do that in the membership as well, because there may be 20 or 30 mobile homes in the park. Yeah, everybody might be living in one as people's leases, that are living in there now come up. Somebody move in, somebody move in. Meanwhile, there's money being collected from the rents. So now with that money, you're paying for the mortgage, right? And then meanwhile, you can figure out as people start to move, okay, well, I'm going to take these 2 out and then this acre can be yours and and rearrange the whole park. You see what I'm saying? I've got a group of sisters that I'm working with now, and I've already started looking for one for them. So I'm super excited. They joined my group, and so I'll be looking for them. It's just you have to think outside the box. And a lot of times in real estate, you don't get a lot of outside of the box thinking. Oh, you don't have a 680 credit score and your debt to income ratio is not high, then you just can't buy a house. You just need to get credit repair. Here's my credit repair guide. Ain't nobody got time for that. I need to buy a house today. Like, show me how I can do that, right? Like, I ain't got time to be waiting 18 months to get a 680 or a 690. By that time, then you're going to have debt to income ratios because who knows if your student loans are going to come out of deferment. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they put one thing in front of you, and then as soon as you meet that, then there's another thing, and then now the guidelines have changed, and you've got to make 6 times the income in order to be able to buy this house, and not to mention the price of the houses are going up. So wait around if you want to on home ownership. Not me, because in 2018 when I was going through what I was going through, I was like, nah, I can't rent. I had been an owner from 05 to 2018, 13 years. Okay. I was not trying to go back to renting. Not at all. Not at all. Right. And so I said to myself, what is it that I can do? And I remembered Carlton Sheets. I had purchased his product, his training when I was in college back in 04-ish, right? 2002, 2003. And so after that, I was like, okay, I had even made an offer I was renting like this triplex, and I had made an offer to my landlord. I said, can I buy this from you? He was like, yeah. And I wrote it out just like Carlton Sheets told me to. And he was about to like accept it. And I was like scared because I didn't know nothing about maintaining no house. Like I was scared. I was like, let me stop playing with this man. And so I tried to kill the deal. So that was my very first creative offer when I was in college. And then after I got out of college and started working, and I was a mortgage loan originator. I did that for a while, and then I worked for a nonprofit helping people buy houses and prevent foreclosure. After I did that, I started working as a real estate agent, and that's where I saw some more creative financing, right? So it wasn't until I went through my own situation where I actually used it for myself for real, for real. But when I tell you guys, you can't wait around for the traditional way to do things. Like, not now. as you can tell, the old way of how we used to operate in this country is no longer. It's a whole new set of facts. So I need you to be real aware that that applies in real estate as well, right? You don't have to do the same traditional, 2 years of income taxes, 90 days of W-2s, and you know what I'm saying? Nah, you better get in where you fit in, which means that you're gonna have to probably be accepting of some things in these properties that you probably wouldn't be normally. What do I mean? I'm like, your property that you find with the owner financing is not going to be perfect, right? It's not. It's going to have stuff that needs to be dealt with, and you just need to make sure that you can handle it, right? That's another thing about the membership. I want to show you how to be able to estimate repairs. I'm basically going to be there for you so you don't screw up and get yourself into some mess. Okay? It's just a little place where a safe place where when you're out searching for a property, when you're out making offers, if you need to run something by me, that's kind of the way that this membership is going to be working. Like, if you've not done it for yourself before, you don't need to be out there. Number one, there's not a lot of these houses available. So if you start trying to make offers on these houses and you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna burn through them, and then nobody's gonna want to deal with you because they're gonna recognize your number. They're gonna realize you don't know what you're talking about, right? So that's number one. But and since there's so few, you want to make sure you don't go out there and you want to make sure you're ready, basically, and you don't want to get into a situation where you are messing yourself up. You don't want to lose your earnest money deposit. You don't want to, you don't want to go through all that, right? So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. What other questions do you guys have? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Thank you, Chilo. I love you back. What's up, Robert? Okay, Daphne. Daphne says she is in the process of selling her motorhome, so I should have around 30,000 to work with. I live in California. Oh, sweet. Yeah, you just come in the membership, super affordable. That way, put that money up, okay? That way we can kind of take our time and figure things out. Now, if you're selling your motorhome, then where are you going to be living while you're doing all this searching? That's my next logical question, right? That's one of the things that you're going to have to figure out. So if you have already got that taken care of, that's good, because you want to be in a place. Somebody had reached out to me and they wanted me to help them, but it was like they needed it to be done like really fast. And I was like, I can't guarantee you that we can do that fast, because trying to find these things is like a needle in the haystack, like you'll keep hearing me say, and it takes time, right? That's why the folks in my group, the ones that are doing the testimonials for me, 12 months we're going to be working together, right? Because it takes time, right? Um, the thing that makes it take longer is the money. If you don't have the money, that's why it's going to take longer. If you've got the money, like Daphne, like when you sell your motorhome, you can really move kind of quickly forward, right? It's just a lot of people that don't have that money available to them, it's not going to be easy, because cash talks and all the other stuff walks, right? When you got money, even if it's just 10, I can help you figure out how to make that work, because most people are going to recognize that as, okay, you're serious, right? Now, some people will want to see more because that's their property, right? Okay, fine. If it doesn't work, we just keep moving. We keep, go to the next property until we find one that does, right? So that's the way this works. It's like, you know, this property that I'm in right now, 5 acres, 3 buildings on it. This is 2,400 square feet. I got a 1,400 square foot apartment that's on its own foundation, and I got a 900 square foot building. This was not my first property that I made an offer on. There was another property. I wanted to keep the boys in their high school. There was another property in Nashville that I attempted to purchase on owner financing, and that just didn't work out. So your first property that you go after may not be the one that you end up closing on, right? And so this was like my second property. So when I found this, when that one fell through, the day it fell through, actually, I came and saw this one, and it was super overgrown. There was a lot of landscaping that needed to be done. It had been sitting empty for a while. It was super big. Nobody wanted it. And I was like, I will take it, right? And I think 2 days, I found it 1 week. And then once I found it, I made the offer. And then we went to the closing like within 2 weeks. as a real estate broker, I was pretty good at estimating what needed to be done, so I didn't get a home inspection. You guys, if you haven't bought a home before, you will get a home inspection. That'll be my recommendation. Didn't need to get an appraisal. I'm a broker. I know how to value a property, right? So I didn't have to take the time to do all that. That stuff takes 2 weeks to come in and all that. I didn't have time for that. I was homeless. I had just sold my property that I was almost foreclosed on. So I was like in a U-Haul and in my sister's apartment. We stayed with her until I closed on this house. So you just got to time everything right. Use funding to create home as a business as well. Make the farm money. Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's another big thing is that when you get the funding, like I'm talking about, there's two different young ladies that I have at my disposal that I'm going to be plugging people in my membership with. When you've got a business already, an LLC, a business bank, or not an LLC, it doesn't have to be an LLC, it could be a sole proprietorship. As long as you've got a business bank account, okay, and there's money going in that business bank account from your business, it can be Uber, it could be gig work, it could be Instacart, it could be this, it could be that. But there needs to be business deposits going into this account. And if you've done that for 90 days, then there's this funding source that you can use in order to be able to just get funded based on your revenue. Okay. So it's real. I tried it and it works. Okay. So one of the things that, and that's with Kenyatta. And so when I did that, I was like, oh, okay, let me just get my revenues up because it's only going to give you the amount based on whatever your revenues show. And it doesn't matter about what your credit is. Now, it is a loan. So to your point, if you get something like that, then you have to have a plan of how you're going to pay this money back. Now, I saw a young lady on YouTube purchase a property. I think she was in North Carolina. And one of the things she did right after she purchased the property was have a what is it called? Trail ride. Okay, she got on social media, said, "Hey, I'm having a trail ride. I just bought this land, and I don't know how that works, but she charged however much she charged, and she made money." So, you might have to do something like that to pay the loan off after you purchase the land. You need to have something that will allow for you to have some money coming in. And that's just one example. There's so many different things that you can do. Good points. Love it. I love it. I love it. Y'all, it's a whole lot of different ways. You just got to be super creative when it comes to this stuff. Just thinking outside the box, well, how can I solve a problem for people? Like people want to be able to go out and have a bonfire. Okay, I'm charging $20 a head. You don't want to go to the club? Fine. You want to come out here and have a bonfire? I got you covered. I'm going to get all the permits. I'm going to get a couple of off-duty police officers in case y'all get out here and get drunk and acting stupid. Okay, they're gonna have some canines because I don't need nobody shooting nobody. Okay, and I need y'all to have a good time. But you're gonna pay me $20, and I'm gonna have a grill going somewhere. I'm gonna be selling some plates. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna be thinking outside the box because I'm gonna make me $5,000 or $10,000 that night. Okay, that's kind of how you have to think. That's how you got to think outside the box. It's not that difficult. All right, let's see who got questions. Anybody? I'm looking forward to working with you too, Daphne. Y'all, listen, check me out, yourfamilycompound.com. I'm launching it November the 1st, but once you sign up, you'll get some information in your inbox. And I'm building out the little platform and all that kind of stuff. Because after Saturday's meeting, when they were like, yeah, this would be a good membership, because we want to make sure we don't mess up. But at the same time, it's not like we got the $7,500 either. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you got $7,500, we can go together and move it fast. But I'm finding that that's not the case for most people right now. Right now, the case is, I can't swing that and a $10,000 down payment. And if that is the case, no problem. That's what the membership is for, right? But for those of you guys who don't have that sensitivity and you're ready to get going, holla at your girl. I can help you get into a property ASAP, okay? We don't have to delay past, yellow lights. We can go straight towards go. All right, let me see what we got. The membership is it's $97, but if you do it before the 1st, it's half of that. And you lock that in. $48.50. $48.50. So for $50 a month, basically, you'll get access to me every week so I can help you find your homestead, help you find the money for it, help you find it, once you find it, negotiate it, and so on and so forth. But normally it's going to be $100 a month, 97 a month. And as long as that timer, when you go to your family compound, you'll see a timer there. Once that timer goes away, that's when the $97 a month is going to kick in. So y'all make sure y'all check that out if you're interested. What else I'm gonna tell y'all? Oh, back to this school. I am super excited about this school because I was just like, all these YouTubes and TikToks I be doing, teaching like real estate, farming, all these different things. I'm like, I got to pull this all in somewhere. And it was like the Holy Spirit was just like, just start a school. Actually, he spoke to my son Malcolm, who is at work right now, because I did a notary school, right? That's what I did from 2021 to 2025. And he was like, Mommy, why don't you just make a school for real estate like you move notaries? And like, like hadn't even crossed my mind. I was just I would being able to make videos and put them on YouTube, make a video, put it on TikTok. This is how you find land without a bank. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. People really can't do it in a video, Monica. They need a place where they can focus, and you need to be able to teach them every aspect from raising capital to filling out the contract. Oh, when you register for the membership, when you get your contract, one of the first things we're going to do is you're going to be practicing filling out that contract. I'm going to give you a property off of Zillow, and I'm going to ask you to make me an offer. It's one of those fillable contracts, right? That you could actually fill in the blanks and all that. So that's what that looks like. That's how I teach. It's hands-on. I'm not going to be sitting here talking to you every day. You're going to have homework. You're going to have assignments. Why? Because the whole purpose of the membership is so you don't need me, right? It's a place where I can teach you what you need in order for you to be able to go out and do it for yourself. Now, here's the thing. Once you've done it once, there's nothing stopping you from doing it multiple times. This is a skill set that once you have it, is going to create you wealth for the rest of your life. Because now when you see a property and you're driving by it and you're like, wait a minute, I need to find out who owns that property. I'm going to make them an offer. You're going to know how to make an offer. You're going to know how to talk to the owner. You're going to know how to talk to the real estate agent if in fact that property is represented by a real estate agent. Okay? These are skills that are not going, once you have learned it, it's not going to go away. So when I tell you guys this membership, being a part of this membership is going to be very powerful for some of you guys as far as family and generational wealth is concerned, because I haven't seen anybody teaching this anywhere. You know, I see some investors teaching you how to do no money down and other people's money and OPP and yeah, I did a deal with no money, none of my own money, and you know, that's great, okay? But if you, and I'm not taking anything away from that, but I have seen it's been my experience that I've seen there's a segment of Americans who are not thinking like that. They're not thinking in terms of investors and let me go find the money from somebody else. They just want to figure out how to find something for them to buy. And maybe they don't have a family that's got deep pockets. Maybe they don't have great credit. Maybe they don't have somebody who's going to let them borrow $10,000, you know, for their down payment and all of these different things, right? So they need somebody that's going to help them. And that's who I am. I'm that person. I'm that person who's going to help that average Joe who's trying to buy a house for themselves, know the logistics and the mechanics, know the words to say, know how to say them, know when to say them in order to be able to get the other party to say yes. That's who I am. I'm going to help you do that. Okay? That's what this membership is about. That's what the family compound membership is about. Okay? Because right now, your friends, your family, everybody's paying out bills all over the place. Like somebody got $1,000 rent, somebody paying I don't know anybody paying 800, somebody paying 1,200, somebody paying 2,000. You see what I'm saying? You got $3,200, $5,200, $6,000 in rent going out from 3, 4 different people. When you bring and pull that money, y'all don't have to even be best friends, right? You don't even have to love each other, right? If you got 3 like-minded people who are like, look, you paying 2,000, I'm paying 2,000, they paying 2,000, and that's just in rent. That's not our bills. That's $6,000. We need to find us some land somewhere, right? I just need me an acre. You can get you an acre, and you can get you an acre. We need a 3, 4 acre property. And once we get it, we can subdivide it. We ain't even got to say hi. We ain't got to come over for Thanksgiving. We ain't got to do nothing. But we got to start thinking in terms of pooling our resources in order to be able to counteract, all of the restrictions on home ownership, right? And what does that mean? That means you need to go to places like the incredibletinyhouse.com. Okay, you guys need to check into these places. You need to be open to, a mobile home for a couple of years or whatever the case may be, right? These are the things that you're gonna have to think outside the box, friend, because rent ain't getting no cheaper. It is not getting any cheaper. So y'all make sure you go to yourfamilycompound.com and check that out. I'll put it in the chat over here on YouTube. Yourfamilycompound.com, and you'll be able to keep an eye on that timer, because once that timer goes away, that 50% off goes away. All right, what questions do we have? Any questions, you guys? And one of the things too, I know everybody's like, I do not need another bill. Listen, you do not need to keep renting. Okay. I can't tell you what you need, but I'm gonna tell you that ain't helping. Okay. That is not helping, right? So the membership cost is 2 trips to Chick-fil-A for some of y'all, depending on how many people is in your house. Come on, somebody. Listen. When my son went to I told y'all last time, my son went to see NBA YoungBoy in Nashville. Was it last week? I think it was last week. And he bought the early tickets when it first was announced months and months ago. So he only paid $100. Do you know people was paying $600 to go see this man? I said $600. So y'all don't tell me, I'm not even finna talk to nobody about $48.50 a month. I already know you got it. It's just a matter of how bad do you want the family compound? And can you figure it out yourself, or would you be able to figure it out faster with my help? That's the ultimate question, right? So these properties are out there. They are hard to find. You do need some help, okay? And then when you find them, you don't need to be playing around with them. Don't ever call them up and be like, can I owner finance your property? Don't ever do that, because they're going to say, no. Even if they got it available for owner financing, if that's one of the first things you ask, they're going to be like, you don't read the fine print, friend. If it's already announced that I do owner financing and you come up here asking me, can I do owner financing? I already know that you're going to be a headache. And the whole goal in life is to not be a headache. You don't want to be a headache. Mark says, I hear people talk about a perk and septic test. Okay, so perking is determining how many bedrooms that the septic, your sewer system, in fact, will support, right? So it's determined by the soil, the types of soil. So in a septic area, let's talk about septic. In a rural area, you're not necessarily going to be on the city sewer. So when you flush the toilet, for the city to do what it does, right? Instead, it's going into a tank, okay? And those tanks are monitored and kept up with by the health department. And in order for a tank, there's certain sizes, so many different gallons. It all depends on the number of bedrooms that the house is for. Now, when you hear the term perk, what that's referring to is, does the land support a house with X number of bedrooms? X number of bedrooms infers so many humans, 2 people per bedroom or something like that, right? So does the land, because you can have 100-acre property that doesn't perk, okay? Just because it's 100 acres doesn't mean it's going to perk, meaning that there may not be any place on that 100 acres that the soil will support the runoff from your poop, okay? Which I ain't never figured that. Okay, so let me just say this, because this is something I ain't never figured out. How is it that cows can be on a pasture? They ain't flushing no toilets. They just dropping it like it's hot. Okay. And it goes into the soil and it rains and the bugs and the birds do what they do and it goes where now their excrements, okay, is a lot more than ours, I would think. 1,000-pound animal. So, this whole perking thing, listen, don't get me started, okay? Because how was we doing it before sewers and septics? I don't know, okay? But now there's a health inspection and all these different things. So that's what perk means, okay? Now, when it comes to the soil, the health department for the county will come out and they will see what types of soils you've got because there's things called field lines. So you got a septic tank and then you got field lines. And so stuff goes into the septic tank and then somehow or another it goes to the field lines and it disseminates through the earth and only certain types of soil is good for that. So that's kind of what it is. Exactly, an anaerobic digester. Like there's ways around it. Like you can there's step systems if you didn't want to do a septic, there's composting toilets. There's all kinds of biodegradable ways that you can deal with your human waste, right? So there's so many different options. They're all going to come with their own set of costs, right? So you're just going to have to research and see what's best. Now, when you go try to buy some virgin land that has not been developed, and you go knocking on the door to the county saying, hey, can I do this? Can I do that? That's where you're going to get in trouble. Okay. Exactly. Plus cow and horse poop is called fertilizer. So I'm not understanding all this perking, but it is a thing. Okay. You got to make sure it perks for whatever number of bedrooms it is. And the septic has got to be in the, the field lines have got to be in soil that makes sense. That's my explanation. That's my understanding of it. So, but definitely check me out because I'm not an expert in that kind of stuff. Besides being self-sufficient, how do I go about my therapeutic farm be a home as well? What I would say is you just do it, right? Like when you get your land, you build your home. However that is, whatever that means for you. Like if you are going to be living in a camper, if you're going to be living in a tiny home, if you're going to convert one of these sheds into a home, if you're going to get a mobile home brought out there, however you want to make it into a home, there is no, I don't even think there is no restriction on what you want that to look like. It just needs to look like what makes you happy, right? I personally prefer that there's a structure on the property already. Meaning I would prefer for it to be like my house was old and needs some work. I don't mind. I prefer houses built in the 70s and the 60s and the 50s versus what they putting up today. If it's dated, I don't care. You ain't got to come over. Okay. My point is, I know it was solidly built, right? So I would recommend that when you do be looking for this home, for this therapeutic farm to make it your own, find something that's going to be, already with a structure on it. And then just understand that structure might need some work, right? And it's okay. And it's cool. It's no big deal, right? Just be able to accept it. Because honestly, I see some apartments out here that, honey, folks is paying for, and these apartments ain't in that great a shape either. Built in the 60s, and some of these apartment buildings is old and got problems, and people paying $1,500-$1,800 rent. Like, so really, when it comes down to it, the only way you're going to have something perfect is if you build it or have it built, right? And outside of that, everything else is going to be what can you deal with. So hopefully I answered your question, and it's just going to depend on what you need and what you want. All right. The website is yourfamilycompound.com. What is the website? Yourfamilycompound.com. And I'll keep going live this week to tell people about it because I'm waiting. I wanted to wait until the state gave me approval and then I was going to go live. I was like, no, let me go ahead and go live tonight and start telling people about it so they can start getting in there. And you're going to get a master class. That's another thing there. Okay. So when you register, there's going to be an email sent to you. You're going to go fill out a form. And then once you fill out that form, then you'll get an email. And in that email, it is there's an hour and 45-minute masterclass. I know you're not going to sit and watch it at once, okay? But if you commute, I need you to listen to it, okay? That's the foundation. With that masterclass, you're also going to get a workbook, okay, a PDF. So this email is going to have all this stuff in it. So on your commute, I need you to go ahead and start listening to that masterclass. You can't skip through this stuff. I condensed, I don't know how many years down into an hour and 45 minutes. Okay, I can't make it no shorter than that. And this is not something that you're going to be able to shortcut your way through, right? When I started law school, they were like, I don't know what y'all did in undergrad, but that's not going to work here. And they ain't never lied, which is why I'm going to have to get off of here because I got homework for tomorrow. You are not going to be able to shortcut your way through this owner financing. When you get in this membership with me, I am teaching you, okay? This is not, you're going to be sitting watching videos, okay? There's going to be some videos, but there's going to be videos that you need to watch so that you can learn what I'm going to be teaching you while I'm teaching you live. So if you don't watch and listen to the videos, then you're not going to be able to learn what it is that I'm teaching you because we're going to be doing a lot of hands-on stuff. So that contract that you're going to get when you register, if you listen to the masterclass, you're going to already have a heads up on how to do our first exercise, which is going to be write me an offer. Okay, I need you to write me an offer. And I'm one of those rewards-based people. So once you've written the offer, then you get a little prize. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come up with some different little ways to keep you engaged. That's what this membership is like. And I know the owner of a title company. So I was thinking like in a month or so for after I got all the foundational stuff done. Well, I don't know when you're going to join. I'm going to probably have to keep this thing on a rolling basis because I want to be able to bring in the experts in their space. Like I'm a broker, I'm an expert in real estate. So I want to bring in a title company, maybe even bring in an attorney. So I want you guys in this membership to be able to get a very comprehensive understanding of what is a title search or what can I expect at the closing table and, all of the things that go along with purchasing property. So you're going to learn a lot. I can tell you that you're going to learn a lot, but we're going to get started with the basics, right? So when you come in, you're going to get started with the basics. And the way I'm setting up the platform is not letting you jump ahead. Like some of these things do. You can get in there and jump ahead and you don't even know what you're doing. You're just clicking around. You don't know. You want to go over here and start the farm, but you ain't got the land yet. Nope, you ain't got the land yet. Let's get the money first. We're going to get the money. Once you get the money, then we move on to searching for the land. Once you search for the land, you got the money, good. Now it's time to make some offers. But all the while, we're going to be practicing some of these skills that you're going to be needing, okay? Coach Monica, look, you got me playing bond, gas, and I ain't even got the land. Yeah, I know, that's right. Y'all, let me tell you something. I love y'all. I don't like people in my house, okay? So, but when she said something about how she made $10,000, I said, what? A bonfire? And I was like, I'm in the county. I said, but I still need to figure that out, right? When you have people on the property, you need to make sure you got the right liability insurance in place and all of the different things. That's why you got to charge enough so that you can pay for all this extra coverage you don't need, right? But when I tell you, I had thought about maybe doing field trips and kids, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And I came to the conclusion that I just need another property because this property is like, it's got land. I got 5 acres, but like home is right here and the land is right here. Like I think what she had her house over here. She had all this land over here where she can kind of divert people from her home, but right in my to come straight through the house. I don't worry about my house. But anyway, but yeah, that's the way you do it. You got to figure out a way to make some money, $20 a pop. And let me tell y'all, some of y'all can get a hot dog stand or a food truck, honey, and set it up, honey, and sit up there. And that's all you got to do. Because one thing that people going to do in any economy is eat. Okay. And so if you can get some stuff going where you're doing some food from farm to table and you can get a little food truck, little hot dog stand going on, honey, and you can, get on that. Listen, don't play with me. Okay. This is the way that you got to think outside the box. Okay. Let me drop the website in the chat. Yourfamilycompound.com. Y'all make sure y'all go check me out. Yourfamilycompound.com. That's where you're going to be able to sign up for the membership. And it's a part of my school. So Monica Dunn School of Real Estate. I'll be teaching real estate licensees as well as people who want to become real estate licensees. But I also have this membership for people who want to buy a family compound, right? So this school of mine is going to teach all manner of real estate. And I'm just kind of telling y'all about it early, this part of it early, because I got my channels, and so I'm going live to let you know about it. So that's kind of what this is about. But I have been on here long enough. I need to get off of here and go study so that I can get ready for this next whatever they got next coming up. Thank you so much, clever girl. I appreciate you too. Love y'all. Yourfamilycompound.com. Go get registered for the membership while you can. Use the promo code is We Are Family. Use the promo code We Are Family. Make sure you lock in your 50% off. It's going to be 50% off for as long as your membership is active. Everybody else is going to pay $97, and then there's going to be another tier for people who want to, get my help, actually making the, looking at their deals and more closely and stuff like that. So, but I'm building all of that out right now. And November the 1st is when I plan to have it all rolled out. So if you guys want to get in early, I would love to have you. All right. Love y'all. Peace. See you guys.